Chairperson Herdman, Board of Trustees, Superintendent team, and honored guests. As you already know, my name is Kashini Senanayake, but with my students, we just drop the 9 letters and we just go with Miss S. And I am a first-year teacher at Nelson Mandela High School. At this exact time last year, I was over 3,000 kilometers away, finishing up Teachers College at OISE, which is the Faculty of Education at the University of Toronto. And on our last day of classes, one of my favorite professors, Kathy Lundy, stood in front of our class, and she said, "Now that you have had a small taste of teaching full-time in the classroom, I want you all to reflect on this question as you embark onto your teaching careers. What do you stand for as an educator, and what would you do to ensure that your teaching practice and everyday actions reflects what you stand for?" To this present day, I'm sorry I don't quite have a concrete answer to that question. However, my first year of teaching has presented me with daily lessons and opportunities from both my students and fellow colleagues at Nelson Mandela that teach me a little more every day about what I stand for as an educator. Now, as you have already heard, at Nelson Mandela, our fine arts team is faced with a situation that is quite unique. Many of our students come from junior or middle schools that do not necessarily have a full music program, yet alone a full fine arts program. So the first time they are exposed to a large variety of opportunities within the fine arts is when they arrive to Nelson Mandela High School. Our challenge as a department, and my challenge specifically within music, is building a music program that is accessible to all our students, whether it be a student who has played their instrument since they were 5, to students who discovered they want to learn music for the first time in grade 11. It is our hope that our students involved in the fine arts at Mandela would develop not necessarily the top skills, but more a love and appreciation for the fine arts for life. In all my classes, we spend the first week not at all touching the curriculum, but rather spending that time getting to know the individuals in the classroom and the experiences that they bring along with them. We do attendance using a question of the day, such as, if you won $1 million today, what would you do with it? And on days I notice that my students are really high in stress, we drop everything and take 10 minutes just to laugh and have fun, whether it's through some games or watching a funny video, before cracking down to our work for the day. This is work that seems so small, but in actuality is a big step in helping my students feel as though music and drama is not just a class, but rather a fun community and a place for students to feel like they do belong to something in school. One of the challenges I faced this year was being assigned to teach 2 classes of Drama 10 and Film Studies 15. Although I have performed in plays in the past, I would not consider drama one of my teachables. Thankfully, my amazing and enthusiastic fine arts learning leader was quick to offer her assistance, and so we sat down together and planned out the tasks and unit plans for our drama and film classes. However, what I was quick to discover was that drama and music share many similarities in relation to what it offers to our students beyond the transfer of curriculum. Both drama and music serves as a safe space for our students to take a moment away from whatever is stressing them outside of the classroom and simply focus on creating various projects together. I also discovered that drama can be utilized as a platform for students to express and share their own stories. A few weeks ago, my students created skits based off moments they felt they were treated unfairly. One group performed a skit of how their parents treat boys and girls in the family differently, while another group performed a humorous yet sad skit about how they feel forgotten in a large family. What I noticed is that my students very much meet their success criteria when they are presented with opportunities to apply their own voice and experiences to the work they do in class. As the days go on through my first year of teaching, it gets harder every day to get out of bed for school. I don't think I've ever felt so exhausted in my life. But the thing that gets my butt out of bed every morning are my students. Every Tuesday and Thursday mornings, I have an eager group of students waiting for me at school to run my 7:30 a.m. band rehearsal. And my students take pride in yelling at me if they are there and I am not. Every Wednesday and Thursday after school, I have a growing group of choir members who rely on my rehearsals to be their only dosage of fun for the week. Every morning, I am reminded of my students who are new to Canada and how music and drama has allowed for them to find new friends and a sense of belonging to Calgary. I think about my one student who told his other teachers, "If I didn't have music at Mandela, I would have dropped out of school by now." I remember my first parent-teacher conference, nervous that I'd have an unhappy parent come in and voice their opinion. Instead, I had an emotional interview with an older sister of one of my students who said to me, "I never want to take music out of my sister's life. It is a safe and de-stressing space that has been such a huge help to manage her anxiety at school." I believe that music has the strong, unique power to create connections in a room full of strangers and can provide a platform to unite and build communities. I have been so lucky to witness this power of music take place on 3 separate occasions this year. The first time, as you've heard about already, was during our Winter Exposition concert, where my choir gave the final performance of the night. While my choir sang to Ed Sheeran, our audience full of parents, grandparents, children, and our students all began to wave along with the music. I, of course, did not realize what was going on because I'm frantically making sure they're not rushing and things aren't going to fall apart. But it's only after when my colleagues showed me the photos that I realized firsthand that the power that music has to unite a room of strangers together through a common love for music. Less than a month later, Nelson Mandela hosted its annual Grade 9 Tours Day. Once again, I was taken in for a surprise. Groups of grade 9 students from various schools came to our classroom every 2 minutes. When my music students performed, again, I know Ed Sheeran, perfect on instruments, without having to say anything, the visiting grade 9 classes would join in and start singing along with the music. Suddenly, the large, awkward divide of grade 9 students on that side and Mandela students on that side became one large circle of students singing and making music together. About 3 weeks ago, Nelson Mandela hosted its first ever Mandela Coffee House. Students and teachers came together to celebrate and enjoy the various talents that we have at Mandela. Once again, I witnessed a room of teachers and students come together, singing along with the acts, forgetting about all the stress of school and simply enjoying each other's company. These Mandela moments, as we like to call them, have demonstrated the ultimate power of music in action, and it is these real-life examples that made me realize that I want to fill my teaching career with these moments, utilizing music as a platform to build our school culture at Mandela. Whenever someone asks me to describe my first year of teaching, I always tell them it has felt overwhelmingly supportive. I feel so incredibly lucky to work in a building where every day I am inspired by my fellow colleagues at Nelson Mandela, who continuously strive to reflect and better their teaching practice daily. I will never forget my first weeks of teaching, not just because it was absolutely chaos, but because I couldn't walk down the hallways without a fellow colleague stopping me to ask if I was okay, or if I needed anything, or more importantly, if I needed directions to find something in the building. It would be quite selfish and inaccurate of me to say that I'm progressing through this first year of teaching all on my own, because in reality, I have an amazing support system that sets up the conditions for me to experience success in my first year of teaching. I would like to take a moment to thank my principal, Teresa Martin, and my assistant principal, Aileen Smythe, for putting my name forward as a nominee for the Edwin Parr Award. I am thankful for the opportunities and experiences my first year teacher, Nelson Mandela, has provided, and I hope to continue to grow as a teacher as the school continues to grow. Thank you.
Wow, now I want to join the choir. So we do have to formalize this as a board, that the board will accept Miss S or Miss Sensei or Miss Senanayake as our Edwin Parr nominee. So could a trustee please bring forward a motion? Trustee Dennis.
I am really excited to make this motion. That Kashini Senanayake is the Calgary Board of Education nominee for the 2018 Alberta School Boards Association Edwin Parr Award.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the motion? Trustee Dennis, could you speak to your motion, please?
Absolutely. So when I went to school, my band and choral teachers were my favorites too. So I'm not surprised that you're a favorite. And just after hearing just your passion, the Calgary Board of Education is incredibly privileged to have you. And I would say that it's clear, it becomes very clear to me when we look at just the scope, the number of teachers that the system hires each year. Out of 350 new teachers, that this individual was chosen as our candidate. So congratulations around that. And I would say that I wish you a long and rewarding career with the Calgary Board of Education.
Thank you, Trustee Dennis. Would any other trustees like to enter debate? Can I call the question? All those in favor? And that is unanimous. So congratulations, you're now officially our Edwin Parr nominee. I would just like to present you with a small gift.